Guys, you have heard me talk about them before, and I'm gonna keep talking about them again. Project Build Your Life Daily. It is our newest show sponsor, and their products are phenomenal. I am currently taking the Test Booster, the Fat Burner, as well as their pre-workout. And guys, I'm telling you, it is all natural, it is all clean, and it works. I get clean, clear, sustained energy in my workout without the crash at the end. It tapers off very nicely. I typically work out in the evening, so I'm taking the pre-workout at 6 o'clock, and come 8:30, 9 o'clock, I have no issues sleeping. These products are fantastic, the ingredients are clean, and the company's mission could not be more in line with our show. Project Build Your Life Daily. Like the Godfather and I always say, you're either one day in or one day out. Get yourself in with Project Build Your Life Daily. They are offering listeners of our show 25% off. That's huge. That's 25% off your total order with the code THETRUTH at checkout. So go in, buy some protein, buy some Test Booster, whatever it is that you need to help get you to the next phase of your health and well-being. Throw it in the shopping cart, go to checkout, use the code THETRUTH. 25% off your total order. Anything that they sell, supplements, protein, workout gear, t-shirts, whatever it is, 25% off, guys. You cannot beat that. And I'll tell you what, just a little thing from me to you, that Test Booster, all natural, but boy, oh boy, is there a little extra lead in my pencil. I'm telling you what, guys, Project Build Your Life Daily. Check out their website, check out their page on Instagram, it's Project BYLD. Again, use the code THETRUTH at checkout, save yourself 25% off. Who's better than that? Boom.
The truth is inside of us, and it's wonderful when we have the courage to tell it.
And the truth shall set you free!
Welcome to 8192 The Truth with Brother Sand and the Godfather. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can also follow the show on Twitter at 8192 The Truth and on Facebook at facebook.com/8192 The Truth. Now, here's your host, the Godfather, Joel D. Supernom.
So, if you would have told me on Tuesday that I was going to be in studio recording a show, I'd have told you were crazy. I got really, really, really sick. Sunday night it hits me. I don't sleep Monday. I don't sleep Monday night. I'm sweating, and then I've got the chills. So of course I know. Okay, I've got the flu. Lad starts school on Monday. Miss H goes to work, and the camera crew is following Chael around. The Bellator Behind the Fight camera crew is following Chael around. So I'm stuck, and this is as bad as I can ever remember feeling. So I asked Chael to bring me some medicine. And he says, yeah, I can be there by 4-ish. I'm like, okay. Back your nose and cover 10 minutes time. Okay, so Kevin is in South Bend. And I'm trying to get him to call in. He says, I can try now. You just may get some background noise. I can give you 5 to 10 minutes of my time. Okay. All right. I'm good. Maybe next week. Wow. Okay. All right. So Brother Sin is missing in action again this week. I guess he's at South Bend, and he can only come on for 5 to 10 minutes. I don't feel like being under a deadline with my co-host to have him talk to me. So Brother Sin's missing in action again this week. He's in South Bend, Indiana for the Notre Dame Michigan game. Would have been great to talk to him. Would have been great to have him a part of the show, but apparently he only had 5 to 10 minutes for us. So we'll move on. Anyway, so I was very, very ill, very sick. And it gets to the point where I'm like, man, I don't know if this is, I don't know. This seems like to be a little bit deeper than being just sick, to just have the flu. It seems to be something else. Now at this point, I haven't slept all night, been freezing all day, my body's sore. It's the flu. But I'm scared, man. So I get up and I drive myself to the emergency room and I just tell them, hey, I'm a little extra sick right now. Maybe you can do the once over. And they do, man. They check my heart. They see if I had a heart attack. They check, see if I got pneumonia. They check, see if I got kidney stones. They check for strep. Like Chael says, you cannot go to the hospital and not be diagnosed as dehydrated. So, of course, they diagnosed me as dehydrated and with strep throat. And they put a couple bags IV in me. I'm there for about 3 hours, feel a little bit better, and go home. This is Monday. Tuesday, and I go into the office. I try to do some work. I overdo it, and I'm back on the couch killing myself Tuesday night. Worked all week. So anyway, but my point, the point that I want to make is there was a time when I'm there, I'm by myself, and they're checking to see if I had a heart attack, checking to see if something very, very serious has happened to me. And man, it was a really, really low place. It was very, very lonely to be at that place by myself. And the news came back, hey, it's just strep. And that night, I got on some antibiotics. And the next day, I had a full day of antibiotics. And they really started kicking in on Wednesday night, where I knew when I came out of it, I was gonna be really, really thankful. And hold on, let's call Kevin. All right. So we do have Brother Sin, Kevin Sinier, live from South Bend, Indiana. Now only got you for 5 minutes. Is that it?
A few.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. There's the background. There's no background noise. So okay. So we had. I remember we have this trip a year ago, and you brought your entire family. Did you do it again?
We did, but it's different this time because we're not actually going to the game tomorrow. We're going to do everything chill. So last year with 5-year-old, he didn't make it more than a quarter of the game. And, bench seats, Notre Dame Stadium is old school. She was not having. This year we brought everybody, but we're doing all the day before activities and the lead up, tailgate up to the game. And the tickets are absurdly priced because it's opening week against Michigan.
Opening week.
During the season.
What do they want for the ticket?
They're minimum nosebleed top row $250.
Oh, $250. That's just such a waste of money to bring those babies into that stadium for $250.
Especially on the bench seats where we're uncomfortable. So the kids are just not having it. So
Okay, so
back to Sandy and other.
so I remember last year coming back from that trip and just what a drain it was, and so now you've decided the way to make this is Callie's first trip, baby Callie's first trip.
That's right.
How far is the drive from Canton area? You're in the Canton area, correct?
Yep.
All right.
About 4 hours, 45.
So you rode it. How'd baby Callie do on the way over there?
Good. We left at 4:30 this morning, so he slept almost the whole way, so it worked out perfect.
And then, by bringing the kids there every year, are you trying to get that Notre Dame? Are you trying to end up with some Notre Dame college girls?
That's right. We've already discussed it. And I've been telling my 6-year-old. I told her she had an early admission interview today, 11 years early. I said, "You go up, tell them you want an interview today. They'll have so much respect for your moxie. They're going to let you 11 years."
Yeah, that'll be a good story to tell. So let's get down to the football game. So NCAA football's here. I know that's big. That is big in the Midwest. And we have one of the biggest games right now is Notre Dame, Michigan. So the weekend, the two huge games this weekend is Auburn, Washington, and Notre Dame, Michigan. And the reason I know this is for the first time that I can remember, ESPN was talking about the point spread for the first time ever, handicap and betting, which is fine now because now it's legal all over the United States. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the point spread was a pick'em game for Notre Dame, Michigan, and the line started out at 6 points for Notre Dame. You know as well as I do that first loss of the season puts everybody in the comeback position. How big of a game is this for both those teams?
Oh, it's huge. They're both ranked much higher preseason than they have been in the past few years. So this is huge. This is especially same because not only is it week one where they don't want to have an opening loss to climb back up from suspension, but it's Big Ten. So it does a lot for their strength of schedule when the rankings come and that kind of stuff. So it's huge. It's huge for Notre Dame. And Michigan, the same. Big Ten is always a meat grinder. So if they start off with one loss, their chances of climbing out of that hole when you've got Ohio State, you've got Wisconsin, you've got Nebraska. It's very hard for them to climb back from it. So it's vitally important for both teams.
Okay, so the big news out of college football starting off the season was Urban Meyer was suspended, and it looked like he was going to be a casualty of political correctness. In this case, not only his assistant, but his trusted assistant coach had been with him everywhere, was, by all counts, knuckling up his old lady. Comes out, he only gets 3 games. Now, I believe the last time you were on the show, we talked about this, and you've had a couple weeks off. You were in training class last week, or some big shot thing where you paid somebody to tell you what a big shot you were. We could have done that right here. You could have sent me a nickel, and I would have spent 20 minutes on the show telling everybody what a big shot you are. Next time, let's look into that. All right, so
there we go.
If you would have asked us when we were talking about it, and I remember talking to you about it, you were like, he's gone. He's done. This is it.
Yep.
Not only does he only get a 3-game suspension, he didn't really apologize for it.
No, and the way it turned out, I posted some pictures on my Facebook. USA Today wrote a great piece on it last Friday. It just looked terrible on Ohio State that they're willing to, overlook what happened and not take anybody's word into account. Ohio State ran their own private investigation and they based their decision on that. It just looked bad. For him to only get 3 when that kind of smoke has followed him Florida with some nonsense, and it just makes the university look bad.
Hey,
Their football
it is
well over
big
their
time.
integrity, and
It is big time college football. It happens at every one of these campuses. You cannot get a hold of these kids until it's too late. Until these kids are self-entitled from the jump street. We're talking mid school, and usually this is an athlete problem, but now this is an athlete problem. This Zach Smith wasn't good enough to be a superstar football player. He was good enough, which is great, to make it on to. He played at Bowling Green for Urban, correct?
correct.
All right. So he was good enough to be on a Division I team and have some sort of success. So he, through hard work and athleticism, he made it to a certain spot. But he didn't make it to the spot where he had in his head. And he was self-entitled too. This is a grandson of John. Was it John Cooper?
No, Earl Bruce.
Earl Bruce. Okay, even bigger. A grandson of Earl Bruce. So he was entitled from the start. You don't see a different pattern with these kids. You don't see the pattern is self-entitlement, break the rules, get away with it, don't go to class, get away with it, commit crimes, get away with it. Sooner or later, it doesn't work anymore. You're out, you're broke, and you're looking on the outside. And then, and only then, do you have any kind of perspective. So what happens now? What happens if Ohio State loses one of those first three games? There's a patsy. They got Oregon State where they're favored by 36 points. Again, I know this because it was the lead story on ESPN this morning, which I love, by the way. I used to be a gambler. I used to bet college football. It was a part of my week. And man, if I was hooked on the book now, you could roll all the when I bet. It was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then they put Thursday in, and man, now they're starting Friday. A gambler can get his action any time of the day now. So it's all or nothing, right? This year for Urban, if he doesn't win it, they whack him.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure that was part of the conversation. That we're going to smack your hand on this, and if you don't do something so great that it makes everyone forget, then you're out. This is an all or nothing. You win it all or get damn close and make people forget the preseason, or you're gone.
You know what the shame of this thing is that Urban seems to be a good guy. He seems to be a good mentor, a good coach, a good family man, a good friend. He's in a really, really bad sport, right? It's full of feeders. It's full of feeders. I was going to use this example later in the show. Me and Chael went out to Fun Time RVs. It's an RV place that's going to give Chael a big old motorhome to park at his gym. So in between practices, he can just relax there. The gentleman, Mike Kipes, they call him Kuipers. The general manager, got to spend some time with him afterwards. And this is a very, very successful guy. Has run multi-million-dollar businesses for the last 20 years. And I got a chance to sit and talk with him. And we were just talking about different things and how they intersect. And the biggest thing that we were talking about is the feeders. The feeders are the people that are always trying to feed off somebody to get something for themselves. And isn't college football the biggest feeder place to live, go in the world?
It absolutely is. And the major Division I college sports are so rampant with impropriety that everybody's looking for something, and it's a nasty, nasty place. And yeah, Urban may be a very good guy, but you can't be in one of the top 3 coaching positions in all of the NCAA and keep yourself cocooned off from that kind of stuff. It's just rampant.
Well, he had to take a year off coming out of the Florida program because of stress. He knows go on.
That's what they tell people. But sources here in Ohio, it was something different. He was having dalliance with some co-eds, and his wife said, "We're leaving Florida, and you're giving a year to your family and getting out of this."
Oh, that's even better. I love a good rumor. So maybe okay. So Urban isn't Snow White. He's scumbag like the rest of us. All right, good for you, Urban. Good for you. Good for college football is a fabric of society, and you can hide from the cold hard truths as much as you want. We want these kids to be better human beings. We want the coaches to be better human beings. We want the fans to be better human beings. But come Friday and Saturday and Sunday in the fall and winter in the United States of America, we want these guys to kill each other.
That's right. We are brute savages at our deepest, most inner core, and that's never going to go away. It's part of the human experience. So every Saturday we want bloodshed.
And we do root for those. We do root for those jerseys, don't we? We
do indeed. We are a tribal people.
I'm the worst of the worst. I'm a diehard Cub fan. If the Bears are winning, I'm a diehard Bear fan. It's just
you had to fight through those Jay Cutler years. So I'll always have sympathy for you on that.
Well, it's tough when you're a big market team and you can't field a 500 football team.
Yeah, like the Knicks, New York Knicks. Yeah.
What else we got going on, man? We have Lionheart coming up on the show. I sent him a text Saturday during the fights. He said, "Yeah, I'll be on." I said, "Okay, I'll get a hold of you on Friday." I say Lionheart's a Randy Couture kind of guy where if he just says something, he just means it and he just remembers it. So I haven't bothered him all week. I haven't sent him a text. I'm gonna call him in a few minutes and talk to him about having so many girls. Now you've got one boy. You've got one boy in the family. You've got an ace deuce coming up. You got somebody to watch your 6 in about another 10 years. You got to make it on your own through the rough times for the next 10 years, and then you got a partner. He didn't have a part. He is living with the enemy. All girls. Imagine how wrapped they all have old Lionheart. His job is to be a savage and then come home and
that's right.
And be the angel. So, what else is going on, Sin? What you want to here? I want to talk about one thing with you. We can bounce around a little bit, and then I'll call Anthony, and you can be back on to South Bend weekend. Did you notice the Cowboy Mike Perry drama, Winklejohn drama?
Yeah. Yes, I listened to that on the way here this morning. Cowboy explained his side. So, Perry recently moved down there to Jackson Winklejohn camp, and Cowboy's been with Jackson since the onset. And apparently they just decided, Cowboy, you've had your time. Perry's our ace deuce, and we're going to roll with him. And sorry, you're out. So they've had the falling out.
So what exactly? So Cowboy now, Winklejohn comes out and responds to that, and he says, "Hey man, this guy hasn't been a part of this team forever. He's never gave back. He's never been anybody's training partner. He's taken coaches away from the camp and brought it up to now. Where's his ranch in New Mexico or is it in Colorado? Where is his ranch?
Yeah, he's about 60 miles south of Albuquerque.
Okay.
He's still in New Mexico.
You know, it'd be nice to get Paul Felder's feel on this, because Felder was a Cowboy guy and went out and trained with him at that ranch for a little while, trained at the Winkle at Jackson, and then went back and trained at home. This seems to be a running theme. But Winklejohn came out and said, "Hey, we're gonna put our chips behind Mike Perry." But Cowboy also said Jackson offered to come up to his ranch and train him, and Cowboy said, "No, the only reason you're doing that is for a check." Cowboy's got
That's what he's. Yeah, he said that even in the past few fights, he hasn't been full time with Jackson. He trained maybe 2 or 3 times a whole camp, and he was still cut his normal, check as a trainer. So he was not, cutting him out of the deal. He claims he had to step away from that whole camp because it's becoming more of a public gym, and people just coming in off the street fighting, sparring with these top level contenders, and that's just not the type of gym that he wanted.
Well, I tell you, Cowboy wants and Cowboy deserves. Listen. There's no money to be made in this business. Okay, there's just not. You've got one chance to make it, and that is as a fighter or invent something. Because once the shine's gone, shows the money, and you're going to be back at the gym holding somebody's pads. That's the cold, hard truth of combat sports. But what happens is these big gyms, the new thing with the big gyms is run them all together, run it class style together, amateurs with pros, and hopefully the pros and their own coaches can go ahead and cut off a piece of that gym throughout the day and run a camp for themselves while the camera crews still come in and the gym gets the big shine, and then we all go to the fight. These highfalutin trainers, the ones that have a bunch of fighters, now they're fighting at all these different shows. They're not in the gym. They're gone. Their assistant coaches are training somebody like Cowboy or Mike Perry. Mike Perry's, it's brand new to Mike Perry, so he's kind of got thrown in this thing. He doesn't care. He's young. He's like, I'm gonna beat Cowboy anyway and steal his shine. These fighters need to realize it isn't the camp, man. It's you. It is you. You are the commodity. When you are no longer a commodity, it's your own fault. Do not give the coach that has never fought in his life, more than likely, unless his name's Mike Brown. Don't give him the power over you, because now Cowboy's like, I need to win this fight. I'm going to go back to my roots. I'm going to go back to JW and do a real camp. I think I need that. And they're like, sorry, man, doors are closed.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, they're giving up too much of the stake. They're letting the coaches think they're more important than they are, taking all the power.
Yeah, I tell you, from a guy that watched Randy Couture train in the back of his car dealership for 3 or 4 world championship fights, I can tell you Randy Couture had a specific plan for himself every single day, and the practice revolved around that. He was going to get 5 rounds, so were you. He was going to get 3 rounds, so were you. Whatever it was, he was going to get his. It drives me crazy to see fighters that are paying. They're paying. They're not paying the gym the $150 a month. They're paying a percentage of their purse to a coach who only coaches them week of the fight or when the cameras are coming around. That is exactly what's happening in this field. Fighters are not the most loyal people in the world. I'll tell you that. They bounce around more than car salesmen. But you got a guy like Cowboy who expects a certain treatment because he was one of the originals with Jackson Winklejohn, and he just got told the hard facts. This is a business, Cowboy, and you're no longer good for business.
That's right. I hear you. All right, buddy. Well, I got to step away. I got to go break out the black card to pay for this second mortgage worth of apparel at the bookstore.
All right, cool.
Suit up the family.
All right, Notre Dame, on it.
Go Irish.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Always good to talk to Brother Sin. You know, that's my third, There's 4. I told myself I was going to quit using those 2 words. When I talk to Brother Sin, it feels good to bounce ideas off of him. We are of the same mindset, even though we're very different in a lot of our beliefs. But boy, does that guy spend a lot of time on the road showing those kids, living memories with his children, and I love that about him. Be nice to have him on the show every week, but I tell you what, family is way more important than a podcast, so we will stand and wait for our co-pilot, and let's get Anthony Smith on. It's my bet he answers the phone. I'm going to call him right now. It's my bet he answers the phone, and we're live with him. And if not, the Godfather will figure something else out. That's what I do. So we will see if the Lionheart is coming on next. We may be in the process of getting big timed by the Lionheart. Lionheart seems to have forgotten about the old Godfather. Happens. Be training. Could be on ESPN. Could be doing a bunch of different things. But as of now, the Lionheart is shining the Godfather. That happens. That happens in show business, and the show must go on. So let me get back to what I was talking about before I called old Brother Sin. And that was, man, I was sick. I was really, really sick. I was in that hospital, and they were doing some big tests, and I was all alone, and I was scared. I started feeling a little bit better Wednesday, real late Wednesday night. I said, when I come out of this thing, I'm going to have a different perspective. I'm going to have a fire underneath me to live. Now that fire is not, it's in my head and it's in my heart. I'm just not physically able to attack that yet. I was at coffee this morning with my coffee buddy, Maddie Sprague. And before I saw Maddie, one of Lad's baseball coaches, a member of community, asked about Lad. I started to talk to him about his son, and his son's a senior. Is he going to play baseball this year? And his dad really wants him to play baseball, and his son is thinking about not doing it. Baseball career's over. And I said, well, the only thing he'll ever look back on of his high school years is regret. He'll never look back on his accomplishment. And we all know that. People that have lived through this, we all know that. And he's like, hey, man, that's exactly what somebody told me my senior year to get me to go out for football. And if you get a chance to see tape, maybe you'll run that by him. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. What changes in life? What changes from when we steer our children into the right move to taking the easy way out? Being pigeonholed. When do we decide this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life? You're going to live the all-American dream. You're going to have the 3.2 kids, house with the picket fence, a retirement, and a good life. I look at the people that have the things. They have the things that I don't have. And would I trade places with them? Meaning, are there other things that go on with those things? Yes. The answer is yes. Being happy in this life is hard work. And it starts with you. You cannot make anybody else happy. You can't do it no matter what happens. Look back on the history of the show, and I talk in detail about your primary investment. I have that problem where I focus my attention away from myself onto something else. And the only thing that happens, the only thing that builds up is regret. Me and Maddie were talking about a young man who his dad runs one of the most popular independent used car dealerships in Portland. It's a very good company. He owns his inventory. He's one of the few car guys that is in a successful position, which means he doesn't own his he owns his inventory, not the bank. He's not working for the bank. He's working for himself. Has a very successful company. Young son coming out of college is gearing up to take over the general managership of that job. And he's going to make a lot of money for a lot of years. And I wouldn't take that position. If I could go back and be 25 years old, I wouldn't take that position for all of the tea in China. And why is that? Why do I talk about the car business being such a bad thing? A lot of people say that just business itself is a bad. Well, the way the car business works is that business, for instance, that good business has three managers. They've been there for a long time. They make a good living. Couple other managers underneath them, been there for a long time, make a good living. And then the 70% of the workforce forever in that business is a rotating culture of drugs and alcohol and bad decisions. It's pretty much how every single car dealership out there runs. Your labor, your workforce, your sales force is a mess. And you can't escape it. You can't escape it. And a lot of times you will graduate from it. You will graduate from a sales position into a manager's position and bring those horrible habits with you. And that, my friends, is the worst part of the car business. Take away the fact that you'll never sell somebody a car that goes up in value. It's only going to go down. It's only going to depreciate. You don't make credit decisions for people. They're going to make them on their own. So when they come in to buy a car from you and they have bad credit, you're only going to get them a loan that bad credit people have, which means when they come back to try to trade that car in that you told them they could trade in 14 or 16 months, well, they come back. They haven't done everything on their credit. They expect to trade the car in. Now they owe $4,000 or $5,000 more than it's worth, and they can't. You have to send them away. That is a bad thing in the car business. You're never going to be the good guy. And if you are the good guy, it's only going to be for a minute. So I look at this, and I'm like, find your passion and run to it. Telling my son something. Thinking about my son. What do I want Lad to do? I want him to find his passion, and I want him to run to it. I don't want him to sell himself. I don't want him to have any regret. Sell himself. It's a big thing. Isn't this what we're always doing? We're selling ourselves. Okay, this roofing job is going to be the next greatest job in the world, and I'm making a bunch of money, and make it something it's not. Yeah, it's selling roofs. I'm fortunate that the economy's good, and I can sell roofs and make a living. Is this something when I was younger, when I was Lad's age, I look forward to doing? No. Am I following my passion? No. But that's okay. As long as I find that passion, as long as I don't lose sight, as long as I don't quit on myself. And that's what I was thinking when I was in that hospital and they were taking these tests. I was thinking, this is it. This could be it, man. They could come out and say, I've got a bad ticker. I haven't taken particularly well care of myself overall for the past 25 years. But they didn't. I was in perfect health. Heart was good. Blood pressure was good. Everything was good. Yeah, I got to lose some weight. Already doing that. But the most important thing is I need to find my passion. And I can't sell myself on something. It's so easy. It's so easy to sell myself on something, ourselves on something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that passion is. But I do know I saw my future in that hospital. And I did not like it. And it scared me. Hopefully, I believe there was a reason that I went to that hospital in good health other than having strep throat and being a little bit dehydrated. I do believe that I was sent to that hospital to receive a sign of which I can do something with, or I can just move on. Is that too deep? Is that too hokey? I don't think so. I think it's real. And there's nothing wrong with being real. So easy to build a life full of resentment and full of regret. I've been doing it. I've been doing both of those. The Hall of Fame, we talked about going back to Southern Illinois, Edwardsville, to this Hall of Fame. I'm not going back there. There's nothing back there for me. I can't reach back 30 years and change that day. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't. That day where they have some sort of banquet in honor of the 87-88 Southern Illinois Edwardsville wrestling team. I can't go back 30 years and change the person that's going to this banquet. Can't do it. I got to do it from right here. I got to do it from right now. What's more important? That night that Chael's fighting, what's more important that night? Going to a banquet of people I haven't seen in 30 years? Acting like I was better at something than I was? I was really, really good, but I fell flat over there. Did not succeed. That was my passion, and I could not succeed. Could not stay on point. But what is going to be gained from that? I know what's going to happen. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to come back with a bunch of regret and a bad week ahead of me. I know that. For a fact, that's exactly what's going to happen. So why don't I change that? Okay, we'll go have a good time, see your old people, and no. Not going to happen. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get looted. I'm going to get lit. Eat bad food. Waste a bunch of money. Hopefully Chael wins that night. Why don't I do something with my kid that night? Why don't I do something with Lad? Why don't we go somewhere and enjoy that fight? Whether it be the coast, maybe we'll go to Malibu and see his cousins for the weekend. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go back 30 years to a place that I failed at to recreate history because the team that I was on was really, really good. No, I don't have to do that. It doesn't mean anything to me. It really doesn't. Felt good to say for a minute, oh, I'm in the Hall of Fame again. It's nothing. What's more important is the sign that I received in the hospital this week and what I do with that sign. That's the most important thing. Truly is. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to get back to the number one thing in the world, which is my health. My overall health. My mental, my physical, my spiritual health. I'm going to put myself in front, deal with myself first, and the rest of everybody else later. Your goals are not my goals. My goals are my goals. And I'm going to get back to that. Then I'm going to have some success. And then I'll go to the next hurdle. It is a marathon. It is not a race. Or it is not a sprint. I loved talking to this gentleman, Mike Kuipers from Funtime RV, because he was a guy with a bunch of charisma, and it was real, and it wasn't beat. I could tell the difference. See both sides of that type of individual, and I can smell BS from a mile away. It was enjoyable talking to him and talking to him about the feeders. The feeders are everywhere. Don't be a feeder. Don't feed off of somebody to make yourself feel better. Don't feed off of somebody wealth, success, fame, position in society to feel better about yourself. Don't do it. Find your spot. And if your spot doesn't feel right for you, change your spot, but do it in a way that doesn't hurt anybody. When you follow your passion, things will change. They'll change fast. I'm going to follow mine. That was a big moment for me in the hospital this week. I knew it when it was going on. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I knew one way or another that it was it. That this was going to be the time that I looked back on, and it would have been the beginning or the end. Truth. That is the cold truth. So it looks as if we got no way to go on old Anthony Smith, which is fine. This is a part of the business that you get used to when you have callers. It's the reason that Chael doesn't have callers anymore. It's a headache. It's a headache. Then you're reliant on somebody else. We shoot the show on a bad time for Kevin. Kevin's a family man. So look how hard it is to have my own partner on the podcast on Fridays. He's part of the show. He's part of the show. And he can't always make it. It's understandable. What time the studio is. I do not have a studio in my house. You're missing just out. So I'm going to take a break here. And if I can't come up with anything to talk about, I'm going to peace out. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee real quick. I'll be right back.
21 pounds in 21 days. That is the Dolce Diet's 3 weeks to shred. Who among us would not want to lose 21 pounds in 21 days and keep them off, all while eating delicious, nutritious foods, up to 6 meals a day, 2,000 calories a day, and staying full. Brought to you by Mike Dolce, 4-time MMA Trainer of the Year, whose athletes have a 100% weigh-in success rate in the UFC. 100%. Never, ever has one of his athletes ever missed weight for a professional MMA fight. He is now bringing that knowledge and that science to you, the consumer, via thedolcediet.com. Whether it's the 3 Weeks to Shred program or the 8-week Living Lean program, you can save yourself 10% off the total cost with the code SURNEER10 at checkout. That's SURNEER10, SURNEAR10 at checkout. Regardless of the total cost, save yourself 10% off. You will look better, feel better, and you will increase your overall longevity, all the while staying full and eating food. No points, no cards, no watching your macros, none of that BS bullcrap fad nonsense. This is true science-based nutrition. Go to thedolcediet.com, use code SURNEER10 at checkout, and save yourself 10%. Who's better than that? Boom.
Hey, remember a few episodes ago I was talking about Cool Guy by Proxy and the gal that is hot and cold. She's Cool Guy Proxy. I just ran into her in the hall, and she was right in the middle of shining me and putting me over. So she treated. I would lean on the side of she just shined me again, which is fine. It's just interesting. Human nature is interesting. So I'm gonna finish the show talking about some topics that I was going to talk about with Anthony Smith, because Anthony's a big fan, and then we'll just call it early. We'll just get out of school early today, folks. We talked about the Cowboy drama. I want to talk about Darren Till versus Tyron Woodley. Now, Till, by all accounts, is the biggest 70-pounder on the history of the planet. Is he going to make weight? Kamaru Usman is going to make weight. He is going to be the backup for that fight. Except Tyron Woodley said there's zero chance that if Till doesn't make weight, that I fight Usman on 48 hours, 24 hours. It's not going to happen. There's zero chance of that. All right. So does Usman cut that weight for the paycheck? I believe he does. I believe Darren Till will make weight, and we're going to see if he's the next coming. We are going to see that. I believe that Tyron's the favorite, even though he hadn't fought. Tyron is the favorite, even though he hasn't fought for quite a while. So we'll see. That fight's coming up on us pretty quick. Justin Gaethje knocked out James Vick. Finally remembered James Vick's name. And how did he do it? Man, he just did it with that tough pressure. Pressure's so tough. Keep telling Chael this. Now, that pressure he's going to put on Fedor is going to be the reason he wins that fight, is because you can't emulate that pressure in camp. The kind of pressure that Ricky Simone puts on somebody. The kind of pressure that Anthony Smith and pace that Anthony Smith puts on somebody. A ton to deal with. So we'll see. We will see. Coming up. Lad asked me about this. Where is the Khabib and Conor hype train? They don't have to. They're gonna do a 1 week blast. Conor is so popular, he's going to bring in X amount of buys. They already know what that buy is. They don't have to go throw away $20 million promoting a fight they don't need to promote. Why would they? That saves them a bunch of money. Good for them. Wonderful announcement to a fight on that card. Tony Ferguson against Anthony Pettis. The fact of the matter that Tony Ferguson has recovered from a horrible, horrible knee injury in 6 months is amazing. Let's celebrate that. Man, if he can come out and be as good as he was before the injury, good for him. Good for him. And he showed us on Twitter from day one his training. And he was in the gym or his backyard or wherever he trains at. They might be the same thing on day 2. Good for him. Good for him. Look forward to that fight. DC complaining about a 40-pound weight cut. That means he's at 260 or 265. He probably cuts to 205 from anywhere between 220 and 225. That means he's rolling around at 260 right now. Happy, full heavyweight champion in the world with a monster payday on the horizon. So unless John Jones is out there for the third fight, which would be bad for DC, I want DC to end his career on top with a victory. We need that as fans. The Dark Knight, John Jones to come in and kill him on his way out. That'd just be sad. It'd be tragic for all of us. Man, that's all I have. Sometimes you're up against it. Sometimes you're up against it. Planned on knocking the ball around with Anthony this morning. He doesn't show for me. We will still give him the 8192 mojo. We're on a roll. Next week, we're going to have Anthony Bobby Cooper on. Godfather's first interview with a female fighter. You know, there's a fighter there's a female fighter at Chael's gym. I think she may be fighting tonight in Bellator. Her name's Lisa. Don't know her last name. But over the years, because I take Chael to that Gracie Barra practice, I've been going to that gym for 3 or 4 years. She started there. Now she's a professional. She's having success. And I watched her from pretty much from day one. Well, she's in there training with guys. The gym's grown too. She's in there training with guys. Last week she's sparring like 5 or 6 rounds, every round with a guy. They're going hard. It was amazing. It was amazing to see how hard that she has to train to compete against another woman. There wasn't another woman in that gym. It was just her. Which means when Paige comes back, Paige has the same problem. Training partner. I tell you where those girls need to be. And I'll talk to Amanda about this next week. They need to be at the high school wrestling. They need to be going takedowns with the high school kids their weight. Because once they can start stopping the varsity wrestler at that weight class from their high school, they're in a dangerous position. So the girls that are willing to do that are going to be the girls that have a lot of success in this sport because it's growing so fast. There's not enough girls to fill out the cards. There's more people wanting to see these girls fight. Just like the WWE. The WWE's having an all-women pay-per-view. First one ever, coming up shortly. We want to see these women fight. We want to see them beautiful. We want to see them tan. And we want to see them tough. This is a new thing. Look forward to asking Aunt Amanda some of the questions about, like, for instance, imagine, the guys are cutting weight, and sometimes they put on suits to go down to these press conferences. Sometimes they just throw on a sweatshirt to go down. The girls got to get all gussied up. They bring dresses to these things. They get all shined up. They got a makeup crew. That's different, man. That's different. This is why we want to see them. We want to see these pretty girls fight. What's the balance? How much of it is entertainment value and how much of it is pure competitive? How tough is it to get comparable workouts in? It's tough to train with a 135-pound male fighter who's probably cutting from 155 when you're a 115-pound girl fighter. That's just the truth. That's all I got, guys. That's all I got. Find your passion and run to it. Regret is a horrible word. Regret is a horrible word. Change your attitude, change your perspective, and change your focus. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Godfather was up against it this week. Stared into his future. Didn't like what he saw. Plans on changing it. Very thankful, right? Very, very thankful. For Brother Sin and his brood in South Bend, Indiana. For the Lionheart, even though he didn't show up today, we still love him. And for the rest of you that enjoy the show, peace.
You've been listening to 8192 The Truth with The Godfather. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast and follow the show on Facebook at facebook.com/8192 The Truth.